Smarties, today we are chatting about how good intentions and good vibes are not a strategy. This is a familiar story. We hear it every August, every September from our learners, from their parents who share that their learners have told them this is the year that is going to be different. Students and learners start off the school year optimistic, energized, and determined to stay on top of their assignments and keep their binders neat and avoid procrastination. But today we are unpacking why students are so certain each new year will be different, typical executive functioning traps that prevent that, and what can be done to support systemic and sustainable change. If this is you, if this is your learner, reach out to us. Nothing changes if nothing changes, Smarties. So feel free to connect with us at either of our websites. My website is www.kappedtherapy.com. That's Kapp with a K. Steph's practice is www.myedtherapist.com. Let's dig in.
You want to learn faster, but sometimes working harder is just not the answer. You have to learn smarter. The Educational Therapy Podcast.
Hi, Smarties. Welcome to episode 369 of Learn Smarter, the Educational Therapy Podcast. I'm Stephanie Pitts.
And I'm Rachel Kapp.
So this episode, we were just talking about transparency. We didn't know what we were going to record. And you said, let's talk about how every year this is going to be the year.
Yeah. And we hear it all the time, right?
All the time, all day, every day. This is going to be different, but we're not going to do anything different to make it different.
We're just going to feel it.
Yeah, we're going to will it. We're going to will it into existence. Mm-hmm. When we were talking about that, my immediate thought was, well, willing it into existence is not a strategy.
Right.
And so many times students think it's the circumstance.
It's the teacher, it's the school, it's this person.
It's the grade, it's that class, it's the whatever it is.
And sometimes parents go along with that too, because frankly, it's so hard to figure out. What is it?
And to be fair, sometimes it is.
Yes.
But if there is a pattern, then it's probably not that one thing.
It's that idea that nothing changes if nothing changes, but also wherever you go, there you are. Mm-hmm. And so this is a conversation that we would have frequently over the summer with families, particularly in August as we're gearing up. We always make the recommendation that if a family chooses to pause over the summer, we don't always want them to pause over the summer. Some learners continue all the way through. But, the circumstances of life, if some learners are ready to come back, we make the recommendation that they come back 2 weeks prior to the start of the school year so they can really do an EF reboot, really set up their systems well. And that's oftentimes when we hear from a family and they say they feel like they've learned what they've needed to learn. And this is the year. They are going in feeling good. They're going in feeling strong. And they're going in saying it's going to be different now. And we want to give them that space to try. Of course, the new school year feels like a clean slate. Mm-hmm. They're coming off summer. As the adults in the room, we are coming off summer and the fresh start.
Yeah, summer amnesia.
Totally. And we forget what it's like, right?
Yeah.
Until we're in that pain point again.
It's one of those things where you sort of know it's coming, but you have this wishful thinking, well, it can't happen again. But then it does happen again. And feeling like this is going to be my year.
Yeah.
Or I'm changing schools, so that's going to solve the problem. Or I'm changing grades, that's going to solve the problem. Or a teacher, that's going to solve the problem. I have a new backpack. I have a new binder. I have new supplies. That's going to be the change. However, how many of you are listening to this episode right now and are thinking, I hear that. Yes, that's exactly my kid. And then everything comes just roaring right back, just like where it was before the school year ended.
And that's when we get the call again. Mm-hmm. Right? Like whenever a family wants to try this out, I always say, let's set up a phone call for 3 weeks into the school year.
Yeah.
And I usually request that they do the EF reboot anyway, just so we have that as a baseline when we inevitably come back on the case in a few months, or a few weeks rather. But let's talk about why it doesn't work, Steph.
So your executive functioning is not about time of year, time of day, age, etc. It's not reset with one of those things. When you turn a certain age, it's not magical. That's not going to be the change. So it doesn't stick because things don't reset, basically, right? And having good intentions is not sustainable and is not a strategy.
It doesn't lead to sustainable habits. When the change doesn't stick, there's a lack of systems in place and routines that support that high level of follow through, or that medium level of follow through, or that reasonable level of follow through. Without those systems in place, we cannot expect that sustainable change. And the willpower that learners are going into the year with is limited. And it's also a myth that that is sustainable.
For sure.
And very quickly, novelty wears off.
Yeah. Oh, it's the overcomplicated organization system that looks beautiful but takes too long and is not sustainable. And what we always say is we're teaching systems, yes, but we're also teaching how to maintain those systems. And you can't set up a system that isn't maintainable. There's no point. And so what we really need to think about is why something is not sticking. There's a reason. So get curious. And if it's not sticking, what do you need to do to change it?
It's so true. So what actually creates that change? There is a difference between motivation and systems.
Say that again.
Okay, say that louder for the people in the back.
Yeah.
There is a difference between motivation and systems. Both are a part of executive functioning.
It's true. Yeah.
But you need motivation plus systems. And actually, when motivation wanes, you need those systems even more. Daily, realistic systems that are maintainable allow for realistic expectations from the learner to make those changes. And the daily routines make it habitual. And that's what leads to incremental progress. It's small.
It is.
And consistent. What do you want to add, Steph?
Well, I was just going to say, how many people do the new year, this year I'm going to change and I'm going to get fit and I'm going to lose weight? And, you know, it's a very common goal. And that's why gyms make a lot of money right in January, because people are motivated. And then let's talk right now in August, July, August, you know, when you're listening to this, did you maintain it? Probably not.
Again, because motivation is not based off a calendar.
Right. And motivation is not a system.
It's not a plan.
Yeah.
It's not an action.
But I want to put out there, if you did.
Way to go.
Yeah. And you made changes to your systems.
Yeah.
Right? You changed the way you were approaching the task. But if you didn't, like 90% of people out there, it's really because your motivation waned. And that was not a system for you. So how can we help?
How can we help, Steph?
Number one, not judge.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. Is not to judge the learner who is coming to you and saying this.
They're trying. They want to succeed.
It's an acknowledgement.
Yeah, they don't know how. And that's okay, because that's our job to help them. We fundamentally believe that people want to please. Kids want to do well. And if they aren't, it's because they're struggling and they can't for whatever reason.
And something is hard.
Even though they're going into the school year thinking this year's going to be different, most of the time it's not. So helping them understand how they need to make it different and how they're going to do things differently. And that is the thing that's going to create the outcome that they want, not just their feeling of, I've got this, their motivation, their desire. That is not what's going to make the change.
Ask some questions. Talk to them about it. Normalize this.
Yeah, because we all have it. Yeah, we all struggle.
We all do it. And ask what's different about how they're going to approach things. Have them verbalize what their plan is. Another option, as the parent, you can say, I would love to scale back on sessions. I do not want to do that at the start of the year. Can we look into that 6 weeks into the year? Can you tolerate 6 more weeks of this? Because as your parent, that's what I think needs to happen.
So that's one of the reasons why we like to start with students also before the school year starts, because we can start getting the systems and practicing them. And when you have the systems in place, you are ready for when there's a misstep, because the misstep is going to happen.
Oh, yeah. And even if they're in session, missteps will happen.
100%. And that's okay.
Yeah, it's normal and to be expected. I also wanted to add one more thought on this. If you choose to let your learner go down this route and see how it goes, I would be very specific about how will we know it's working and how will we know if it's not working.
I think that's a good call.
It needs to be something that
is agreed upon and specific.
Agreed upon and specific and trackable.
Yeah.
So it can be if there's more than 2 missing assignments when we check in 2 weeks. If your email's not read and dealt with. And we can always tell if it's been dealt with. We can tell when learners go in and just archive everything before session.
Yeah.
Steph taught me about how to do that. Pro tip is go back and look if they've sent any emails and responded to anything, because they should have in that clearing out of the email process.
Yeah, or if everything is unread in the archive box.
Yeah.
The important thing, too, is the metacognition of all of this. Encouraging the reflection. What's working? What's not working? Have that check-in time 2 weeks in, 4 weeks in. Potentially before they get that mid-semester or before the first report card comes out, and they have those check-ins with the teachers. And if things are not where they should be, like what's working, what's not working, and let's look at that and what needs to change.
Yeah. With that, we wish everybody a motivated, enjoyable, relaxing summer.
Yes.
We hope you get that summer amnesia. We all deserve it. But we all want the school year to go differently.
Yeah.
If that learner is still in that phase of their intervention. Mm-hmm. So you've got to put the mechanisms in place around it. And we're here. We're not going anywhere.
It's so true. Have a great week, Smarties.
Have a great week.